A lot of Nigerians are still happy concerning Victor Osimhen, Asisat Oshoala, not forgetting Chiamaka Nnadozie, and also Super Falcons for scooping those awards at the CAF Award that happened on Monday. But the good thing is the fact that they all worked hard for it and they deserve to get those awards there. Congrats to Team Nigeria. But right now, we'll be looking at different stories to give you update in the world of sport alongside Opa Josiah. Good to have you. Good to have you, sir. Yes, let's quickly start with our first story that has to do with Victor Osimhen. When Osimhen won the award, news came out that Amuneke Emmanuel, former legend, talking about player of Nigeria, also won the award before. According to him now, that he picked Salah ahead of Osimhen, but he says, I did not pick Salah over Osimhen. He was trying to explain himself that he was caught unawares, and they asked him between Salah and the third person, Achraf Hakimi. They didn't mention Osimhen, and that was why he picked Salah. Not that he picked Osimhen, rather Salah ahead of Osimhen. And aside that, he didn't even have the right to vote. So Nigerians should not crucify him. Right now, we're looking at that particular topic. And I still remember when Osimhen picked that award, he actually thanked the coach, especially for the fact that without him, he wouldn't have gotten to where he is today. So what do you see about this particular story?
There's one thing about being popular. The more you speak, the more people will hear, the more publicized it becomes. You know, the media is a very funny space. You can say this and people will take it out of context. And you can imagine from his explanation, he did not even have to choose between Osimhen or Salah. The option was Hakimi
Salah and Hakimi.
Salah. Yeah, and he picked Salah, and people thought that he chose Salah over Osimhen, and probably he even voted. And he had to even come out to clarify himself that he didn't even vote. There was no way he could vote because he wasn't part of the system of those that were eligible to vote. So it's normal. Nigeria, you have to be ready. As long as you're up there, you need to be ready to be criticized. But there are some that do respond. There are some that will just let it slide under the carpet.
But really, when you look at that, I think to some extent, because I've also seen some journalists trying to justify the fact that maybe he voted for Salah or something. Number one, he didn't even vote. Number two, he said he was asked, Salah, Hakimi. It was like a random question from a journalist. Salah, Hakimi, and he chose Salah. And he said Osimhen's name was not even mentioned. So I still don't understand what the narrative, whoever is pushing it, because it's looking right now that the friendship, the joy, the fatherism between the father and son relationship between Osimhen and Amuneke, if this particular story can actually make it sour, because seeing this could be like, so you didn't even you choose Salah, but which I know Osimhen wouldn't even think about that, because he thanked him even during his speech. But really, it's very funny.
Well, they as footballers, they know how things are. So I wouldn't expect Osimhen to take the things he hears from the media to heart. So I believe they would have even communicated about it. So it's not an issue anymore between them.
And I remember Osimhen saying, even when one journalist talked about his club Napoli not supporting him, he said nothing like that. So I think it's high time, maybe media space, as you mentioned, we should just be very careful the way we push their narratives.
The thing is, they are just trying to gain that popularity, and if you don't push certain narrative, you wouldn't get.
Because some narrative can actually destroy someone.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I know how many attacks that has come to Amuneke between Monday night and now.
The thing is, they don't really care about the individual. What they care is their brand. You know, the more people come to their space, the better for them.
Just to make money.
Yes.
Well, it's always we need to be very careful the way we push some stories, because it can be very, very painful and disheartening. Right now, looking at that particular story, trending, going around, that he didn't pick, rather support Osimhen, which meanwhile, it was just randomly asked between Salah and Hakimi. Well, we move away from that particular story. Right now, it has been put to rest. Amuneke did not say Osimhen is lower or Salah is better. But right now, we move to talk about the NBA. The NBA games on, and with so many games played earlier today. We look at the result of those games. Los Angeles Lakers lost out in that game by just 2 points. Looking at the result of the NBA there, LA Lakers 125, 2 points behind Dallas Mavericks. The Maverick enough to defeat Los Angeles Lakers. It seems, Los Angeles Lakers, Anthony Davis and LeBron, the King James, couldn't save that particular team there. Cleveland Cavaliers 113 against 120 scored by Boston Celtic, who won by 7 extra points. Good one for Boston Celtic. They were able to win that game. Denver Nuggets really showing why they are one of those refined Nuggets. They won 114 against Chicago Bulls, who scored 160. Denver Nuggets really showing class as defending champion of the NBA, really bulldozing their way to see how they can make it to the end. Golden State Warriors 116. They lost by extra 3 points against Phoenix Suns. They actually showed their life like Phoenix. They were able to win there. Sacramento Kings 99 and Los Angeles Clippers score 119 to defeat Sacramento Kings there. Good one for LA Clippers. They clipped the wings of Sacramento Kings. When you look at NBA result times, you'll be wondering why you are tilting towards, oh, this particular club will actually win. You'll be surprised and blown away by the result you'll be seeing.
It's usually a very close call, considering how professional they've turned out to be. But the shocker there was the LA Lakers. With LeBron James, you are always kind of certain of a win. But quite strangely, they lost out barely 2 points. It happens. So you're not expected to always win. And these are one of those days that you lose and go back again to the training board or drawing board. Well,
you look at this particular clip there, the graphics there. You look at Denver Nuggets star maker talking about, Doncic really being a man that a lot of people are wondering how is he playing his own basketball. He's doing so well with that team. What can you say about him, briefly?
Well, he has come a long way.
Jokic, I beg your pardon. Go ahead.
He has come a long way, and anyone you see performing today has definitely paid his dues by training well and following the processes involved in becoming a great achiever. So it's not just an overnight achievement. He has done well, and I'm just hoping that in the coming years, he will stamp his place among the greats, because greatness is not just you appearing, but it's the reoccurrence of your success that determines your greatness.
Consistency.
Yeah, so I just hope that he'll maintain that consistency.
Consistency is the key. They are talking about Denver Nuggets. Jokic doing so well with that particular team right now. We move away from basketball. Let's talk about football. But this time around, we look at women football first. UEFA Champions League for the women version. Matches will be on tonight. Let's look at their games as they will be playing. Let's look at the fixtures there. Rosengard of Sweden will be taking on Barcelona Femenino of Spain rather. Benfica women against Eintracht Frankfurt of Germany. A big one there, those matches. And you look at Group B, St. Paul team women against Slavia Prague, while Brann of Norway, they take on Lyon Feminines. Well, you look at Lyon, they have the record. They are big when it comes to UEFA Champions League. They've done it almost 7 times, and you can't take anything away from them. So looking at the way it is right now, are you standing with Lyon to win this game?
No, of course. No two ways about it.
I see you smiling. Seems
yeah, I've been following them for a very long time, except for the emergence of the Barca women team now. That is kind of a tough nut for them to crack. But Lyon is definitely up there. They are definitely the greatest when it comes to women football.
Right now. So right now. You are seeing them as, they are like the Real Madrid of the Champions League.
Yes, sir.
They've really done well when it comes to that. But Barcelona Femenino, are you expecting goals from them, rather winning from them against Rosengard women?
Well, unfortunately, unlike the male team, this women team is a team that you can be sure of to win you games with goals, not just struggling to score goals. They have goal scorers. They have 2 Ballon d'Or winners in their rank. So
they have the African Player of the Year in their rank.
I even forgot that, and it's such a joy to watch their game. Whenever I go back to watch their highlights, it's quite interesting. They play beautiful football. So I don't expect them to struggle against the Rosengard women.
Well, let's see what happens concerning Women's Champions League fixtures for tonight. Those are the games slated for tonight in those Group A and B fixtures. Now, we cross over to the men's category. This one seems to be a big one because it's the final group match, and it's a big one there in Group E to H. We start with from Group E right now, looking at how the matches will be coming up for the fixtures. Let's start look at the fixtures in Group E of the UEFA Champions League as they will be fighting out against themselves. A big one there. We'll also be looking at the table alongside in Group E. Well, looking at this particular Group E fixtures, Atletico Madrid will be taking on Lazio at the Metropolitano. Are you expecting Lazio to put up any fight against them? And also Celtic taking on Feyenoord.
Well, this is the top of the table clash between Atletico and Lazio. And for their previous meetings, Atletico have always been ahead. I think out of 3 meetings, Atletico has won 2 and drew 1. So even from their last meeting, Atletico, is it draw or win? I think either way, but they had the result against Lazio at home. So I'm not expecting Lazio to actually win Atletico at home. Atletico has been in very good form. They have been in very good form, so I don't expect anything less than a win from them, because there's actually nothing to play for except for the bragging rights of the top in the group.
Now, looking at this group now, if you switch to the table, that's Group E table now. As you mentioned, Atletico Madrid now, they are topping that group with 11 points, playing 5 matches. They won 3, they drew 2, they are yet to lose. They have goal difference of 9. And you look at Lazio, they have 10. Feyenoord, even they win with 62 million votes to the point or goals. Yeah. They can't get to second position because it's 6. That will be plus 3 will be 9. So the race is now between Atletico and Lazio, who stay top, and both of them are facing themselves. So if they play draw, it will remain 12-11.
Yes. And
if Lazio wins, Lazio will actually have 11-12-13. And Atletico Madrid wins, they also get 14. So I think the two teams right now, they've done the business of dominating this particular group.
Absolutely, it wasn't anything short of expectation, considering the standard of various league the teams come from. And it's just like a grading system where you have team from Spain come first, then Italy, before the Netherlands League and the Scottish League. So it's not surprising.
But really, even in this group, right from time when the draw was made, you will actually expect that Lazio and Atletico should be the one to top that group.
Yeah, definitely.
So Celtic and Feyenoord have no place
in as
from
much
the
as the group is made of champions. For instance, Celtic won their league. Feyenoord also dominated the Netherlands and the Dutch league. Last season. But it's a very big disappointment on the part of Celtic. They still top their league, but the Champions League is a different ball game.
It's that you call it Champions League, at least it's for the champions, and
absolutely.
So for the fact that it's just like having a class and you have a school. Somebody is actually coming first here. By the time you go to another school, you actually come 10th.
It's very natural, and there are certain schools you now go to, even if you are used to carrying last in your previous school.
Then you turn to number 1. Yeah. So maybe Celtic and Feyenoord should go to that school. I just raised some banter there. But right now, let's move to Group F. We're looking at the UEFA Champions League fixtures for tonight in Group F. This is the toughest group in this year's group UEFA Champions League. You have Borussia Dortmund against PSG, big one. Newcastle United at St. James Park against AC Milan. And if you look at the table, let's look at the table before Josiah will actually talk about the analysis there. Borussia Dortmund, they have 10 points. They play 5 matches, they won 3, they drew 1, they lost 1. You look at PSG, they play 5, they won 2, they drew 1, they lost 2, they have 7 points. Newcastle, 5 points. AC Milan, 5 points. It seems from the way it is, if AC Milan should win, they have 8 points.
Yes.
PSG is in trouble.
Absolutely.
If Newcastle should win, they have 8 points. PSG in trouble.
Absolutely.
If PSG should win, Newcastle AC Milan should forget it. And if Dortmund should beat PSG, what's a group?
Well, the determinant factor of the third and fourth position is the Dortmund and PSG game. Because if PSG should win, they will go 10 points. And depending on the number of goals they score.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they should win with 2 or more goals, they will top the group. If they should draw, they will be on 8 points. And if Newcastle should win AC Milan,
they'll be on 8 points too.
They will be on 8 points too. So goal difference will be another factor here. But AC Milan, they will need PSG to lose, not even draw. And they will also need to win. Newcastle will be dependent on Dortmund to either win or draw, and they also win. But AC Milan is just a one-way traffic. PSG must lose. If PSG draw and they win, they cannot still qualify because they have -4. It's kind of very difficult to score this Newcastle, despite being hit by injury.
They are still holding on.
Yes, they are still holding on. And well, let's just see how it turns out. But
a very tough group of death, as they call it.
It turns out to be, because from the very beginning it was already expected that this is the group of death, and it did not disappoint.
But really, for Dortmund, well, either they win or not, whatever happens, they know they will scale through.
Yeah, they're already
the only thing is just to top the group. That's what they'll be fighting for.
Absolutely.
For PSG, is a match that they really need to come out to make sure they win, because whatever happens between Newcastle and AC Milan, either of them that wins and PSG loses, that's a big problem.
They are on the tightrope, and considering domestic league doesn't mean anything to PSG, the investment that have been coming in has been solely for the Champions League. But one positive I'll take from them is for the fact that the new players they bought are beginning to turn up. They are beginning to gel as a team. So it's going to be a very tough match, trust me.
A tough match for them, because PSG winning this game, they just have to be out to make sure they actually get it right, because Newcastle and AC Milan are still hopeful that they can do it. And we are looking at this particular tough Group F. Really, is a real group of death. Absolutely. And you look at all of them fighting hard. Well, let's go to Group G now. Group G, Red Star Belgrade against Manchester City. Young boys, would they be young enough to face RB Leipzig of Germany? That's the answer coming from the players. Red Star Belgrade, we have a Nigerian Layinka is there applying it straight, and they'll be facing Manchester City. And those games will be coming up. We look at how the table is standing, just so as a determinant of the last game. Well, for Manchester City, they can also go to sleep. They've won it. They've actually qualified for this group. They have 15 points from failing 5 matches. They lost none, just like Real Madrid. They didn't draw. They won the 5 games, and they are playing their last match. Josiah, the way it is right now, Man City, they can be smiling.
Absolutely. I think they did their job even before the match day 4, which is quite impressive. Anything short of this would have been a big disappointment. Looking at the table, they still have it within their power to also finish with 100% record, just like Real Madrid. And Leipzig, they've also done well. I don't consider them unfortunate not to be at the top, considering who is there at the top is the biggest of all elephants. So for young boys, I can say that they are kind of safe, considering that Red Star will be playing against Man City, except if Man City decide to just give that
Man City
away.
I'm sure they will want to have the same record that Real Madrid is having, by winning outrightly, not conceding. At least let them have that good record. It's always good like that.
Well, those playing in the Premier League, they're kind of a different breed compared to those that play in other leagues. So I don't expect Guardiola to set up his team in a way that all his top stars will be there present to play against a match that has little to no value. Against
Red Star Belgrade. Well, from the way it is right now in Group G, a big one for Man City. They've done it 5 out of 5, going for the 6th one. Can they do it just like Real Madrid did? For Leipzig, right now, even if they lose, they have nothing to fear, because young boys cannot even meet them. They need extra 5 points to catch up. So, good one for Leipzig. They've done the business. Red Star Belgrade, let them go back to where they came from to enjoy football. But right now, let's go quickly to Group H. We look at games coming up there. FC Porto against Shakhtar Donetsk, perennial comers to UEFA Champions League. Both teams, Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, although FC Porto did it in 2004 with Jose Mourinho. Royal Antwerp of Belgium against Barcelona. Those 2 matches coming up in Group H. And you look at how the team are really doing when it comes to the table. Barcelona, they have 12 points out of 5 matches they play. They won 4, they lost 1. FC Porto are second with 9 points, alongside Shakhtar Donetsk, who also have 9 points. But on goal difference, 5 in favor of Porto and nothing in favor of Shakhtar Donetsk. Royal Antwerp, they have nothing like that to do with points. They actually gathered goal difference of -12. What it was performance there. But right now for Barcelona and FC Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, a big fight between those 2 teams. Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk will be fighting hard to see who stays actually qualified.
Well, the tough match here is between Shakhtar Donetsk and FC Porto.
And both of them are on the same point.
Yes, it's just in terms of goal difference, but that will not really count except in the situation whereby the match ends up in a draw. That's where Porto will have the upper hand. Porto, they've really done well, but even though for last season they were kind of poor domestically, but it's quite impressive what they've done to reach this level. And Shakhtar Donetsk too, they've been around for a very long time in the Champions League, and for them to be here in top place and they have an opportunity with the quality of players they have, well, I just hope they get a result they want. And for Royal Antwerp, it's just like the Union Berlin of Germany.
Belgium.
Of Germany. So they are just coming up. This is more like their first or second participation in the tournament. I believe that with time they will gain that experience. They don't really have it, and the Champions League has to do its a lot of experience. So I hope that they will come back stronger, though they are yet to gain a point, and the goal difference speaks for it. That's to say they don't score goals and they ship in more goals.
Well, even though we just have to go quickly, just to give you some stories in the world of transfer. Chelsea are keen on Sporting Lisbon forward Victor Gres. They want to go for him, and they are really interested in getting this particular player from Sporting Lisbon. Another one says Dortmund, Newcastle are in the race for Gerassi of Stuttgart. They want to go for Gerassi just to help them to do well. The last one says Arsenal tables £17.2 million for forward, under 20 forward Marcos Leonardo. They want to go get the Brazilian to the at least to join them over there in Arsenal. Good one, just to give you updates concerning those transfers there. We've been with Opa Josiah. At least you've been with us in the studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
I see you smiling. Arsenal really doing well. You are so happy. Well, we just have to go now on the show. Sports update, where we always give you the best when it comes to sport. I'm Adeni Aji Shafe. Thanks for watching.